Amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, or ALS, also commonly known as Lou Gehrig's disease, is a progressive disease that affects nerve cells in both the brain and spinal cord. The local Richmond area chapter of the ALS Association has an upcoming event to shed light on their efforts in the fight against this disease. Joining us today is the Director of Programs and Operations for the local ALS Association, Truffles. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
You actually cover the Virginia, D.C., Maryland area with this organization, right?
Yes, we do. We cover D.C., Maryland, and Virginia. We are currently serving approximately 700 families a year who has been impacted by ALS.
And it's amazing to me. I was doing a little research that this disease was first found almost 150 years ago.
Yes, it was founded almost 150 years ago. However, it didn't gain its prominence until 1939 when Lou Gehrig was actually diagnosed. And of course, he had a very short battle with the disease, and so that's when it became more well known, and that's obviously why people know ALS as Lou Gehrig's disease now.
And also more recently, within the last few years, through the Ice Bucket Challenge, people realized that this is where ALS, the funds were going to help ALS.
Yes, the Ice Bucket Challenge, I mean, that was just a grassroots effort that just took off and brought a lot of awareness about ALS and really got people speaking and talking about the disease and its impact on families.
What is the impact? How many people approximately are dealing with this illness right now?
So what we know is every 90 minutes someone is diagnosed with ALS. Like I said, within our chapter we're serving currently 700 families a year, and then nationwide about 3,500 people will have the disease. But this is a sometimes fast-moving disease and a short life expectancy. So someone, when they're diagnosed, typically will only live anywhere from 2 to 5 years. Some may live significantly longer, and some may live significantly shorter from that time that they're diagnosed.
And we mentioned that it affects the nerves. This is a disease that can leave someone with paralysis.
Yes, so with ALS, anything that you can do voluntarily, so picking up a pen, being able to speak, eating, walking, and of course breathing, anything that you can do voluntarily can be affected. So eventually, as the disease progresses, someone can be left completely paralyzed.
So education is the big thing, because there were so many people dealing with this, and that's kind of an outreach, because the families also are affected and friends are affected, and it's a disease that just kind of exponentially affects people.
Yes, I oftentimes say ALS is just not an individual disease. It's oftentimes really it's a family disease and a community disease, because oftentimes when someone's diagnosed, their family's going to rally behind them, but then also their neighbors, their friends, their church community, and other social organizations they may be connected with. Everyone's impacted because they're able to see, you know, someone that they love kind of slowly lose the ability to do so many things.
Awareness is such a big thing, and you've got a big event coming up in just a couple of weeks to kind of spread the word.
Yes, we are excited to be hosting our Blend event January 18th at Boathouse at Rocket Landing. It's going to be a very fun event. It is our signature wine event that we host, and so we're going to have truffle demonstrations and tastings. We're going to have local wines, and so it's just going to be a great night.
And I'm so happy to be invited to come and help out with the event.
Yes, actually this year we will be honoring WTVR for your support of ALS and the ALS community and the fight against ALS.
It's been our pleasure to do so. I know that we kind of step up and are there for the Ice Bucket Challenge with the Richmond Flying Squirrels.
Yes, every year the whole crew comes out, and it's definitely nice. It's definitely, like I said, you all have always been a great support to our chapter and to our families, making sure to help bring the awareness and help us advocate for those impacted by this disease.
And this is a social event, but it's also a way for people to come together and find out more about this disease.
Yes, it's a social event. It allows people to find out more about the disease, and it helps us to raise the necessary funds to provide our free services to those diagnosed.
And if anybody is wondering how they can take advantage of those services, how can they do that?
They can contact the local chapter, and we have our care services coordinators, we have our technology specialists, and we have a team who's prepared and ready to help them throughout their journey.
Well, you've got a snowbound audience today. Give them the invitation to come to the Blend event.
Please join us on January 18th at Rockets Landing for our signature Blend event from 6 to 9, and we look forward to celebrating and having you join us in the fight against ALS.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Truffles, and we'll see you on the 18th.
ma'am. All right.
The Richmond Blend event presented by the ALS Association is Thursday, January 18th. Mark your calendar. Starts at 6 p.m. at the Boathouse at Rockets Landing. Just go to WTVR.com/VTM for a link to more information about the ALS Association and the event. We'll have that information posted for you by about 2 o'clock this afternoon.